Hi, fishy. Welcome back. You're here every day. What's going on? Thanks, YouTube. Got the email again. It's a really important email. Now live on your channel. Programming a 2D factory puzzle game in C#. Pionactory. Thanks, YouTube. I wouldn't have Why are they telling me this? What's the point of this email? Can I somehow opt out of this? God damn it. If you don't want to notifications when your channel goes live, you can unsubscribe here. Okay, I wonder where that leads me. YouTube, email, unsubscribe. Choose when and how to be. Live stream start notifications. I let you when the live stream starts on your channel. Current setting, turn off. Turn off. To turn off. Good. Did it work? Well, that didn't work. Cool. The site's just reloading when I press it. Right, I'm gonna try to do it on the PC and not on the mobile. Maybe that. This is the dumbest thing. Oh, fishy, you have no motivation, no goal in your life. Well, then find a goal. A goal, not a girl. I mean, a girl works as well, maybe, depending on your preferences. But how do I do this the best way? I think the best way is to do this. Yeah, that works. Start making a game, for example, or YouTube videos, or just like it doesn't even have to be something that is successful or something. Like just do something you enjoy. I don't know. Organize a weekly gaming group where you play board games. Did it work? There we go. It worked. It's on off now. Okay, so I get emails about subscriptions now. Okay, I think I have it turned off now. Can't find an email for getting a new member or something, so that's a little bit dumb. I mean, other things you can set yourself as a goal is like learn something new. Like learn something you're interested in, like a programming language, an instrument, or I don't know. But as I said, it doesn't have to be something productive. Just do something, like organize a gaming week, or I don't know, start a blog about something. But don't get in that like spiral to motivation to not do anything. Or start dating or whatever, I don't know. I'm a bad life coach. No, but honestly, even if things don't look like you can succeed or complete them, just start doing things. Like it's better to start a thing than not to start it and not do anything instead. That's why I started this, after all. I'm not sure I can ever complete this. Like this is so much work and I don't have the time for it. We'll find out. Anyway, I've lots of fun doing it, so it's all good. Keeps me motivated, engaged, and whatnot. So 2 days ago, like I'm a little late today because we had a meeting with the Due Process League staff members. That was fun. We're organizing a league for the Due Process Alpha. So I'm a little late. Over 10 years too late for that advice. Well, none of those things I said are age restricted, so I guess about not getting in that spiral. Okay, can see that. Then you have to flip the spiral so it actually goes up instead of down, or something. That's not how this works, I know. But seriously, like if this is a serious problem, like search a doctor. Weren't you the one asking for a psychologist recently on my stream? Like, if you have the feeling that you're really not getting out of this, don't hesitate getting professional help. So 2 days ago I said this is going to be easy. This is not going to be easy. That's going to be interesting and complex. And then when I went to bed, I was thinking about it, and I think it's not that hard actually. The first step is probably the more interesting one. We have to figure out basically what the method's going to do. Like the factory. Oh wait, I have to. Oh god damn it! Every time. The Visual Studio properties. There we go. The factory, where is it? The factory. And the first thing this method, or basically what this method will have to do is get all the structures in the factory or in the tile collection and activate them, like calling a method on them. And the interesting part will be to figure out the order for those structures. So they have to be ordered in some way, and that has to be modular enough so I can like make it like when I later create these structures, I can put in some variables or some values that decide on the ordering and stuff. So we'll see. We'll have to think about that. So that might actually get a little bit interesting. We'll see. Wasn't I already asked my doctor and it went nowhere? Well, then ask another doctor. Like, doctors are like every other people in every other job. There are good ones, there are bad ones, there are mediocre ones. It's usually a good idea to figure out, to ask multiple people for their opinion. Okay, so what do I have already? Not much yet, I think. We have a test that says if we have an empty factory, it's not actually gonna do anything. Okay, good. Okay, so let's add a method to I structure, not ITIL. Sorry. And let's call it activate or act. What does a structure do? A conveyor belt moves, I guess. A pusher pushes. What's that? They act? They activate? I think activating is better. Activate. It probably needs a parameter. My thought was to just give it the factory, because that will give the structure all the information it needs to do whatever it needs to do. Like, it can find its own position inside of the factory, potentially. It can find other structures, resources, stuff like that. So it's gonna be the first approach. You just put factory in there. We'll see later on how to do this actually. Maybe we need like a get generate or an activation context or something with more properties, like information on, like, we have to, the destruction somehow has to figure out where it is exactly in the factory. It's probably not effective to just go in the factory and then tiles and then just search all of them. I mean, then again, there will not be that many, so, well, it would be nice if the whole thing scales properly. Like, who knows what I do with it? Maybe I do like 1000 by 1000 tiles factories later. Would be nice if performance is not coming to a halt at that point. Then again, I can think about optimizing that later, probably. Like, don't premature optimize your code. Usually not worth it. But yeah, like there's a difference between premature optimization and making like reasonable conceptual choices. Like, for example, making one call to the database instead of 3. It's usually a good idea, no matter if your application is running fine performance-wise right now, because that might be a thing that's harder to patch later on. So, getting your concepts and architectures correct so they're actually easy to optimize later is important. So don't put like performance bottlenecks in your conceptual design, I guess. What I'm trying to say. If he won an Interrail ticket that he doesn't need because he doesn't travel, well then gift it to someone else or sell it on eBay. Okay, so we have an iStructure activate method, and now I want a new test. Wow, I'm fairly tired. Ooh. Okay, this is actually gonna be a short stream today, I think. Next, stop. Activate structures. Oh, it's name lock. Well, that sucks. Souls is tired as well. Welcome to the stream anyway. Chat is slow today. I think only Fishy and Souls are watching actually. That's fine. What? Well, yeah, I wanted to create a new factory. Oh fucking hell! And put a few structures in. Do I have a structure already? No, I don't. Okay. What I'm gonna do now is actually put in fake it easy again. Because I want to mock the structure. Fake it easy. Faking amazing. Also, by the way, I think I figured out why Steam is not showing the stream on my on my curator page. It's only an assumption though. I didn't try it yet, but I think it's not doing that because I did not set the stream to be connected to a game. Like you can connect the stream or the broadcast as it's called in Steam to a game. And then it will show up in that game's community hub. And I think that will also be the trigger for it showing up on the curator page. And since this is not a game that's on Steam yet, that's not a game yet that's on Steam yet. This is not connected to any Steam app, so it's not showing up anywhere. Well, that's just an assumption. So now that I have Fake It Easy in place, I can say, oops, a structure. Oh wait, I wanted to do some other things as well. What was that? Oh yeah, I wanted to change. Wait, I have to stash this really quick before I forget. There was a little thing I learned today. Or was it yesterday? It might be. No, I think it was today. You can do a thing now in the MS Test framework, version 2, which this is. You can make this an extension method on assert. Okay, so okay, wait, I don't call it on the thing then? No, I guess I just ignore the parameter afterwards. And how I did it? Because what I can do now is I can now say assert that doesn't actually work. The class has to be public static for extension method. Well, static for extension methods to work. So now you can do this: assert that, and now we obviously simplify the name a little bit. Right, we do that after we fix the other issues. Assert that the equatable basics are met or something, which is nice. But I want to check something really quick. ms test r2 extension. I want to see if I actually can do something with the instance. Like, can I do something with the assert thing here, or do I just put it in here so it's an extension method? Doop 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 doop. That. This assert if object. Yeah, he doesn't do anything with the assert. Right, how would you go about this? Eh? How would you do this? How could you could? I cannot write an extension property yet. I mean that's planned for the future, for a future C# version, I think, but that's not possible yet. So I don't see how this would work. Like, the assert thing doesn't seem to have anything interesting. No, it doesn't have anything. It's just an empty thing. Because the assert class itself is static for the most part. Or completely, basically. Everything is static. Nothing non-static here. Except that, well, that's static as well, I guess. So yeah, the instance is not actually doing anything because everything is static, just for the extension. But how would you then... Where is it? The public static assert that, yeah. Just creates a new assert, okay. That doesn't do anything, I assume. So, but how would you then do this? Like, oh wait, they just omitted the brackets, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Okay, I guess this is just like here. It's just a proposed solution. It doesn't make sense. there more details on this? Is this documented somewhere? Generate enough to be used in various scenarios. Generate the Memeber was no multiple and complex assertion and a test suppose you can overcome an so was inbuilt exception to be extended to be lifted closer to the domain under the test. This at once makes them more readable. And yeah, so there's nothing. Oh, this blog post. Oh yeah, this one was good. Can you insert? How does he go about that? Take void, is doing expected. Yeah. Is assert. Then he doesn't actually do anything with the assert. Fine. Yeah. So it doesn't do anything special, it just looks clean. I guess we're gonna do that. I just want to extend the assert. That's also asking what I want to do. Just so it, like, this is a feature I learned about today. That there is, like, the assert class has a singleton property basically, which you can use to write code like this. So add that and then your extension method, which is neat. Extension methods are the best. So for I think extension methods are super clever because they're actually super simple. Like they don't, like, they're just, it's just syntax sugar. It's nothing. It's just a static method. There's nothing special about this except that you can call it in a little fancy way because there's a this here. But that's it. Like there's nothing special about this. This is really easy, or was probably really easy for the developer, or like for Microsoft to implement in C#. And it makes code, like, it allows you to write so much better code, or so much more readable code, I should say. And now I do same thing here. So this assert boop. Why is this complaining? An externally visible method, validate parameter item is non-null before using it. If approved, throw an argument null exception when the argument is null. Or add a code contract. What? Oh, because one of the calls is fucked, I guess. What I can do, obviously, now is zip. Right. The only call is here. Oh, let's fix the issues first, like the errors, because I changed the syntax. Okay, somewhere else. Okay. So far, so good. Everything looks clean now. Now I can rename that thing. That's the wrong button. Assert that equatable basics are met. Maybe. And assert that equals to object basics are met. Are met is not very nice. I think of a way better name right now. Let's look at these Assert that equatable basics are met. Assert that equatable basics is implemented properly. That's a mouthful. Equatable basics is implemented. Assert that equatable is implemented correctly. Little too like I don't want to miss out this basics because it's not testing everything about equatable. It's just testing that like some basic assumptions about it. Assert that equatable basics are implemented correctly. That would be a little long. Assert that basics of equatable. No. Assert that equatable is implemented properly. No, it was equatable. Is that even proper English? Like, does this work? Let's ask DeepL because DeepL know. DeepL. The basics are met. Grundlagen sind erfüllt. Fundamentals are met. Seems to be okay. That seems to be okay. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that name. Okay, so naming is fixed. Now we have to tell him to suppress the warning here. Suppress. And I don't know what's going on with this message, so let's read that again. Item is not null here. In externally visible method equals to object basics are met, so it is method. Validate parameter item is not null before using it. What is wrong? What is going on with the nullability checks? Like it's just what? Like the first line says item is not null here, and then there is another analyzer message that tells me that I should check for non-null. I don't know what's going on with that. Not even gonna shut up if I put a dammit operator there. I don't know who's complaining here. Or is it like the code FX name? What's it called? Cop FX cop analyzer? Maybe. Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, it's gonna be it. I'm not sure why it's not complaining in other cases. So I make this one silent. I don't want to suppress it here. That would be dumb. Because, yeah, I think I'm just gonna make that silent. Because this analyzer will be, or this analyzer rule will be pointless in most cases, since I get nullability checks and stuff from the nullable reference types feature. Yeah, science source set is it's FX corp. Do you not have the assert is null item? I'm not sure. I don't need it really. I think there is null, so yeah, I could check that. But why would I? Oh, okay. He misunderstood what I'm doing. So yeah, this is neat. This is neat because it allows to write the test a little cleaner. Like it's clear that this is actually an assert now. That's good. Improved equals test helper to use assert that. Okay, let's pop the stash. Still has old stash, I can delete that now. That's the one from 2 days ago. So I was about to write factory tests. So I'm mocking a structure. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep the FX cop thing going and suppress everything that annoys me. Should be fine. So how do I do this? I'm creating a structure mock that doesn't do anything yet, so that should be fine. And how do I go about this again? And I don't do it this way. Fake, I think. Yeah, fake I structure. There we go. Sure. Struct 1. It's not upgraded. Structure 1. Put 2 in. It's always better to have 2, or more, because if you're only if you're writing a test and you only have one of a thing, then it's easy to miss issues. If your code has like a single or something like a single call somewhere and checks for single, or like doesn't loop over a collection or something, and then works on one element but doesn't work on multiple. So it's always good to have at least 2. So that's a good lesson. I recently had that actually. Like my test was only creating one instance of a class in the database, and then one of my methods actually was calling single instead of. Yeah, it was calling single, which was fine, but I forgot to put the the idea was to write something like sing list. God damn it! This is supposed to be Spider code. Don't autocomplete it. Single. The idea was to write something like this. All right. ID is ID. I'm looking for. So that was the idea. But I completely forgot about this part. So the code was looking like this instead. And my test only had one item in the list anyway, though, so it didn't make a difference if you put that in or not. And I didn't find the bug until I actually ran the program and did a proper test. So that was a little irritating, and a good reminder on why you should always have multiple. Fishy asked if I know Frostpunk. I never played it. It's the city building thing, right? It looks really interesting. I think I watched one video by Tarmac about it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's that one. Someone's streaming. Not gonna have any of that. It's on my wish list. It's fairly expensive though. It's not expensive. It's the wrong term, but like I usually don't buy games until they're like on sale for 80% and less than $2 or something, because I have so many games like I want to play. Like getting a new one it's usually like it has to be cheap or very, very good or very intriguing me very, very hard. And Frostpunk looks interesting, but it's nothing where like, oh, I have to try this. Just like, oh yeah, it looks interesting, neat. So I'm gonna get it when it's cheap eventually, sometime, maybe. So we have 2 structures. Now we have to put them in the factory. So I'm gonna do this. New factory, tile collection. Oh, this is gonna be actually a little bit. We're gonna need some helper methods. Okay, let's have a new tile. Tile 1 or let's put it in a method immediately. Private iTile. Private tile, actually. Create tile with structure or with and then structure. Then we return a new tile with new structure to immutable hash set. Like this, and now I can go about. Should also put these in a. We're gonna do this differently. Structures, new array. And then this, and then we're gonna iterate over it. First I have to skip this song though. Now I know I have to skip the talking stuff and then I have to skip the ad. Fishy writes, I asked about the new DLC was released with 100% less frostpunk and 1% more workers protesting. Okay. Where they demand something silly as safe working conditions or less than 12-hour shifts. Didn't even put cocaine into the food and they still protested. Aw. Yeah, that game is about really horrible choices. Like, I think, like, playing this game is like pretending you're a AAA software developer or AAA gaming developer company, working your workers to death, basically. But you actually have a good reason, because if you don't, the whole city is gonna die and you're all done. Well, AAA gaming companies only have the sole reason to do that because of money. So, a little weird. I think they actually do kind of the same thing. Not as bad, obviously. They don't put cocaine in the food. But yeah, 12-hour shifts definitely happen in the game industry, which is a shame. Okay, so we have structures, and now I can say, yeah, I can create. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this, and then instead of, oh god damn it, no, I cannot put it. I have to at least get the coordinates. And then instead of, oh no, now we have to do it differently. Do it differently. To iterate, after iterate. So basically I'm gonna do tiles. That's gonna be structures. No, not tiles. Tiles, like tiles with coordinates. It's gonna be structures. Can I do this with a link statement, or do I need a loop? We will see. Structures, and for every structure I want to do select. That's not a select, that's a select. Where's the link namespace missing? We do a tuple. New coordinate. I need an indexer. What's a good way to do this? It's gonna should work because of scope, right? If I do in e L here, I actually can do var, I guess. That in it now. I think I can do new coordinate e plus plus e plus plus. I'm gonna coordinates, obviously, and then create tile with S. Should probably rename S to structure, and then we close this semicolon. There we go. And now we can say finally var factory, new factory with tiles with coordinates and number devs run. I should make that a default. Let's give that a default. Like, that should just be a default for 0 with this. Oh, I need a new tile collection, obviously. Cannot convert from enumerable Pionactory coordinates tile to dictionary. Right. Needs to be a dictionary. To dictionary. So I don't actually need tuple. Well, it makes it easier to write the dictionary. I'm not happy with this. Still not working either. Cannot convert from dictionary coordinates tile to dictionary coordinates tile. Okay, I skipped a few i's. So it cannot convert from dictionary coordinates tile to iDictionary coordinates iTile. Because this dictionary is not actually immutable, which means there is like some conversion issue. Dictionary. Can probably just do this, right? To immutable. Still doesn't work. But shouldn't an immutable dictionary of coordinates and tile implement iDictionary of coordinates and or be assignable to iDictionary coordinates and iTile? Shouldn't that work? Wait, I also always have to think about this conversion. No, not conversion. What's the word? Damn it. What's the word? Like, can't remember the word right now. So basically, the question is, if you have a basket of apples, can you put that in a basket, or can you assume that's a basket of fruit? You can, as long as the basket of apples is actually mutable, and the basket of fruit is as well. That's the issue here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, in the tile collection, maybe I should change that. Yeah. Constructor is actually expecting a mutable dictionary, which it doesn't need because it's just gonna put it. Well, it's gonna make a mutable dictionary. I should make an overload where it just takes an immutable dictionary. Or I change these tuples to be of type. I mean, if I just put an I here, I think I'm good. And remove the immutable thing. There we go. Better. Let me catch up on chat. 0 out of 10. No child labor. No child labor in the DLC. Macri fish joins and writes nothing wrong with a bit of coke with your meal. Yeah. Fishy writes, I was always struggling with, on one hand, improving the working conditions of building one more hospital to quickly get them into the work, but oops. Yeah, I think Souls came to the same conclusion than I did. So this is still not. I actually don't need this. I'm not happy about this. We're gonna. I can put this just in here, but then this gets a really awkward line. Way too many braces. So I think it makes sense to put that outside. Is this a reasonable here though? Because this doesn't seem reasonable. Can I not just like this is way easier? Wait. Look. Look at this. Look at this. Bruh, too stupid to write structure. Doesn't matter, we just put X here. Oh no. So now this looks good. Structures to dictionary. We create a new coordinate and then we create a new tile. So thinking about overloading the constructor for factory, but I don't know if there's a need for that. Not right now, actually. It would just allow me to remove the I here again. Yeah, I++ and I++ would just create coordinates of 0, 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah, 0, 1 for the first one and 2, 3 for the second one. I would just need some coordinates. Doesn't really matter what. Just wanted to not. I just wanted them to not be all 0, 0, which is also not possible because they cannot conflict. No duplicates allowed. So I don't like this song either. So this should work, right? I'm not super happy about this. Is there a better way to do that? I mean, you could probably put in another link statement in between and create the coordinates. Like with I think there is like the aggregate function or something could help maybe. But I think this is more readable actually. So we're just gonna do this. I could implement the ++ operator on coordinate. And then have this be a coordinate. Like, not an integer. That would be interesting. There's no point. There is no point, literally. Having the ++ operator on coordinate might be useful later on anyway, though. Might want to do that, but not right now. So I think this is okay for a setup. Then Souls writes he would have made a new dictionary and simply add 2 records. Yeah, that's that's just like, you mean something like word new dictionary coordinates by tile and then oh wait, yeah, no, and then just do like, or at least use the collection initializer, I guess. So you new coordinate structures. Like something like that. This is not working. Combine coordinates to presume coordinates. Oh. Why do I use brackets here instead of round brackets? And structures doesn't work because it's not can't implicitly convert a structure to. Oh yeah, I have to. Yeah, okay. Wait, new tile, obviously. Like this. There. That's basically doing the same thing and just putting dict in here. That works as well. But this is the more what's the word? Like, this is imperative, I think is the word. And this is functional. No. Declarative. Yeah, it's imperative programming style versus declarative programming style. And the declarative programming style is very, very popular with functional programming, while the imperative style is more the traditional way of doing it. And I mean, there are up and downsides to both, really. I mean, overall, they take around the same amount of characters. I like this a little more because it has less repetition. There's less redundant code in here, which will become obvious as soon as I start adding more than 2 elements to this. Like, if you add more elements to this, you don't have to change this code whatsoever, but you will have to add more thingies in here. So more lines in here. So this is yeah. And there are more ways to fuck this up, because like, this is, as I said, like, this is more redundant, so it would be easy to do this accidentally. But it's not I'm not saying this is necessarily better. There are reasons why I like this more. The other is, you could argue the other is more readable. It doesn't need an unnecessary I mean, if I would go full declarative functional programming style, I would do this even a little different and put the I somewhere here in an aggregate or something. I don't know. I mean, we could also just make it random. Random is always annoying for tests. No, wait, random and then I get duplicates. No, not a good idea. That would be amazing. That would be an amazing hard to find issue. Like, imagine you write something like this. Like, wait, how's the random syntax again? New random. No, wait, there's a random instance, right? Can I not just do random? No, I guess I have to do new random. I think there are methods for that. I'm not sure. New random, and then next int. What is next giving me back? Yeah, next is already giving me a bit. And then you do this twice. Basically, I'm not allowed to do that. Can come from method group to next is a method, I guess. Okay. Like, imagine you do something like that, and it works like if I do it like exactly like that, it's gonna work like a lot of times, like almost every time, because this is taking a random number between 0 and max int. So I have 2 random numbers between 0 and max int, and that's fine as long as they're not the same as the other coordinate for the second structure. Which is ridiculously unlikely, but imagining having that test fail once in how many million tries, and then running into that fail and hitting your head against the wall. That's why you don't do random in tests if avoidable. that would be hard to spot. Holy shit. It's not reproducible. Like, you run a test, it fails, and then you, oh, okay, let me debug that, and without looking at the exception message, or not need at least, you say, okay, let me step through that. You make a breakpoint here, press debug, and then it suddenly succeeds, and you don't have the exception message anymore, and like you're like, am I going crazy? Did that test really fail? Did the compiler headache? Oh boy, that's nightmare-inducing stuff for a developer. Random tests can help spot unexpected bugs. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but not tests you want to run all the time. Like, it might be good to have, like, okay, I want to brute force test my method really quick. Well, even then, it's better to generate random. Yeah. Here's how you do it. If you want to do random parameter or random for testing, then you do the following: you generate a sequence of random parameters, and then you save that sequence, and then you run your test always with that sequence, and not generate new parameters every time you run a test, because that's consistent and reproducible. Oof, your numbers are spiking up again. Bet I'm gonna go offline soonish. Hey folks. Actually, now this is so weird. Like, when I started the stream, I was tired. Like, I was yawning on stream and whatnot. And now I'm actually pretty pumped again to rate my code. I'm slow because I'm talking too much, but well, not too much because I'm talking much. But I actually don't feel tired right now. Interestingly enough, not super tired. Like, I guess if I would lay down now, I would probably fall asleep fairly quick. Let's do a little bit here at least. Live unit testing is not running. Let's change that. I should assign a hotkey for it, by the way. Why? Let's do that, because I'm gonna press that button so many times because it always fucking dies. Because there's this known bug, but not fixed yet. Bug. Well, whatever. The known not fixed bug. Well, actually, they claimed it's fixed in an internal test build since November. Live unit testing. Continue per start. There we go. Need a hotkey. Control L, Control S. For live unit test start. It's good enough. Doesn't seem to be blocked by something else, so I'm gonna go with that. Let's test if that works. Oh no, wait, that was the wrong hotkey. That was. Ooh, what was that? Okay, it seems like Control L is actually being used already, so it doesn't register. I hate that it doesn't show that here. That's dumb. Test. So yeah, Control L is line cut. Yeah, so that's not good. Maybe we could go Control L. Oh, be right back. Second. Okay, I'm back. Um, Alterate artifact will generate objects for us with random data. Some data needs to be in a specific value. We set it manually. That's how it works, I guess. PS using the font at work now, and it's catching on with other devs. Yeah, it's great. Fishy words for me. The longer I am awake, the worse I feel. Well, go to bed then. Okay, so I can't go Control Shift L apparently. I'm not sure why. Why is Control Shift L not a... Why? Don't tell me Windows is fucking up again. Keyboard test. Checker. Fuck you. Yeah, this is a recent issue with Windows. This is pretty sure it's not my keyboard. It just stops registering some combos. Okay, that one works. No, wait, that one still works. Because that's the one that usually breaks. Control, comma, usually breaks. That happened multiple times to me already, but didn't have Control Shift L break yet. And yeah, I mean, it potentially could be the keyboard, but it shouldn't be. Like, this is a mechanical keyboard. It shouldn't have like issues with this. And it's like I would suspect the keyboard if I would not have those issues recently, very regularly. So I'm bad with finding new hotkeys. Live unit. Oh, a control is bad start. Unit. God damn it. Oh wait, there was something else already as well. What is free? I have G, Control G is my other stuff. I have R, I think, for yeah. Control R is free. To Control R, L. No, that's bad. Control RS, I guess. Doesn't really make sense, but we're gonna. It's only necessary until they fix it, so just gonna go with it. I mistyped, I think. No, it worked. It's actually awkward to hit. Kind of. Well, I guess if I do the S with the middle finger, it should be fine. Okay, so blah 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 blah. Where was I? Live unit test worked. Cool. It didn't really do anything yet, so it would be bad if it would not have worked. So what I want to actually test now is call factory dot generate next step, and then wait. My whole setup is wrong. My whole architecture is not the whole architecture, but the thing I did in earlier. This is not actually good. This is not working. This is not how I was planning to do this. Okay, never mind. So the idea of this method is that, like, the whole idea is I'm trying this out. My decision was, like, this is an experiment for me, because I have too many people who are deep into functional programming, so I want to give that shit a try. So the experiment is to keep all of this stuff immutable if possible, which means that the generate next step method is not actually changing the factory, but is returning a new factory with the updated state. That means that it's not enough to just call a method on my structure, which then changes the factory around, and instead I have to somehow create the new factory, which means I have to still call something on those structures, but they have to probably, I don't know, I have to give them they have to return a new factory, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. They change the state of the factory, which means they just return a new factory. I wonder if like that was gonna happen a lot later on. I wonder if that's gonna be a performance bottleneck, and if I should find a way to not do that later on, like make it secretly mutable or something, or like restrict the part that's being copied or something, because this is gonna be a lot of factories. Like if every structure is creating new factory every step, and every factory holds the whole thing, like holds all tiles, all structures, all resources, it's gonna be a lot of copying. That's gonna be a lot of copying. Wonder if there is a more clever approach that's still immutable. Not really. Like I have to change the factory, because I cannot just change a part of it, because then the factory has changed. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way anyway, and later run, like when I get to that point eventually, I'm gonna run some diagnostics on that and see if that actually causes issues, and if so, I'm gonna think about a solution. And that solution might just be to make it to make the thing temporarily mutable or something. I don't see a way to do that in a non-mutable way. Like it's just gonna be a mess. Or not a mess. It's just gonna be like, it's actually not gonna be a mess. It's pretty clean, but it's just gonna copy a lot of factories. Like, can I get around that technical limitation by saying like, no, if I change, no. If I change the part in the memory, then it changed the thing. So I cannot just change a part of it. I have to create a new one, or it's not gonna be immutable. The only thing I can do is to make it fake immutable, as I said, and have some way to actually mutate it under the hood. I don't know, maybe it's not gonna be an issue later on, we will see. But I have to obviously change that to actually return a new factory. So, okay. Does this mean for the test? That means that it's gonna be hard to make a proper test with just dumb shit here. Because I cannot actually, like if the structures aren't actually doing anything, I'm gonna have a hard time. Actually, I can do some tests at least. No, wait, no, I actually can test this properly. Yeah, I totally can test this properly. Never mind. So the test has to contain that the first structure, like the structures are being called in a certain order. And the first structure is gonna be called, oh, I cannot do this in this test yet, but in a later iteration I can test it properly. So this first simple test is just gonna check that both structures are being called, that the activate method is being called. So that's gonna be the first test. And then we're gonna make it more complex later, and then we can actually still test it properly. We just have to check that they're being called with the correct instance. And at the end, it's gonna return the correct instance. So that of factory, and we should be good. So factory generate next step, and then we're gonna assert. What do we assert? We want to assert that all of them have been called. So, call to I can do it with the for each loop. Structure in structures. Call to structure dot activate with any argument. Oh wait, outside of the brackets. With any argument has happened, must have happened once exactly. There we go, and the test fails. Cool. That's good. No, I need brackets fast. Like I'm all for removing brackets if it's a one-liner, if the body is a one-liner, but writing something like that without brackets is just horrible. At least for me. I don't know. Okay, cool. Test is set. So how long am I streaming now? An hour and 50 minutes. So this took me, so writing this took me an hour and 50 minutes. I guess I was talking a lot, and I was actually writing this and a little bit more. It's actually fine. It's not that bad. It's okay. And you can now say, yeah, you could have saved that time by not writing tests, but then like writing the test was actually a big part of the design process behind the thing. So I did 5 lines in 4 hours yesterday, right? Silent Souls. Yeah, that's just, yeah, that happens. I mean, there are these days where you check in your work after 8 hours and you actually have written negative lines, number of lines, because you just made awesome refactors and made everything and removed a lot of redundant code. So, number of lines is a bad metric. I can't, like, it's so crazy. Back in the days, developers were actually paid per number of code number of lines. Like this is nuts. Like if you think about it, that's such a terrible metric, especially if the developer has an incentive to write a lot of lines, because then he gets a lot of money. Like, it's so bad. Whoever came up with that, oh boy, didn't understand programming at all. I mean, it was back in the day, so no surprise there. But it's actually, wait, I just had this. Oh wait, which GitHub repo was that? I think the the Blazor one. Blazor. GitHub. And if you look at contributors, yeah, Steve Sanderson, the main guy behind Blazor, has a negative number of lines here. So that's pretty cool. He stole lines of other people. He deleted their shit. No, probably not, but yeah, he removed more lines than he added, so that's cool. I found this just a little funny detail. There's actually, wait, there's this one guy. There's no one with a more extreme thing. No? Maybe not. Maybe not. But there are people who definitely do this the other way around. Like this guy did way more. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting tired again. Okay, and this one as well. So. Oh yeah, just generate lots of code and get all the money you're getting paid for lines. I mean, code generators weren't a thing back then, I guess. But the code also had to work in the end, I presume. Okay, so we have a failing test. Good start, because that means we can actually implement this now. Do so by. I mean, I'm just gonna. Okay, so if it didn't catch on yet, so my idea is I write a test and then I write the most simple implementation for it I can find until the test succeeds. And if I think, that's probably not going to be good enough, I have to improve my tests. So the easiest way to fulfill this is to go over all tiles over all structures for each structure in tiles. What do I have to do? For every tile I need to get to one of the, yeah, so I need to select many. Select many. I think it's not there yet. Like many tile to tile structure. No, value. Oh, it's not actually tile, it's tuple. Yeah, value structures. And then we call structure activate this. Still fails. Why does it still fail? Oh, interesting. I expected this to work. What's the error? The error is expectation exception. A session failed for the following call. Any call made to the fake object expected to find it once exactly, but no calls were made to the fake object. It's not actually calling activate. Why is it not calling activate? Tiles. Select many. T value structures. Or we could, I mean, this is actually hard to read. We're gonna do this a little. No, I don't want to do a double loop. I was thinking about using tiles keys and then using the indexer to go through, but I have to map it to structures in the end because I hate this. Like, this is actually not super intuitive to read. But apparently it's wrong anyway for some reason. Should I just step through it? There's something obviously wrong here somewhere. Tiles is getting set to tiles, which is the thing we're giving the factory. I guess we're gonna break into it. Yeah, tiles definitely has thingies, tiles, and those also have structures. But those should be called. One, two. Probably something wrong in the test, but I can't see it right now. Call to structure activate with any arguments must have happened once exactly. That sounds about. Oh, yeah, it's a city issue in their API. I fall for that recently already. There we go. Basically, there are two different overloads for call to. There's one that takes the fake object, like the fake. If I do this, like it takes an object. If I do this, this should actually succeed as well. No, it doesn't. Oh yeah, because with any arguments doesn't make sense here. If I get rid of this, like this is a search and failed. Any maker expect to find it once, but find it twice. Why twice? Those are two different. Oh, because it calls get hash code. Yeah. Okay. Get hash code is being called. So yeah. So there's this, which is supposed to, like, there's a call to that takes an object, which is supposed to be a fake, and then just like you can say to like any call to that object must have happened once exactly, for example, or it must have happened never, or whatever. And then there's the one where you actually take where you put in what is expecting a func, I guess. Yeah, a func. So no expression of func. Well, doesn't really change anything. So it expects a func, and it's basically saying, yeah, okay, we're doing a call to this method now. So this is an expression, and it's gonna read the expression and rip it apart and realize, okay, well, you're trying to call this method. And it's really easy to mess those two up, as you have seen. And the error message is not all that helpful about it, because yeah, the error was like, if I remove this, then the error message, I'm gonna read it. The error message is assertion failed for the following call. Any call made to the fake object. That's the important line. Expected to find it once exactly, but no calls were made to the fake object. So it like, if you know about the easy mix-up, then this line should give it away. Any call made to the fake object. That's a very different error to a call for the specific method. Like the message reads very different if you put a message in there. So that gives it away, but if it's not super obvious, because it's a valid use case of that method, so that's not necessarily wrong. And so the error is a little bit unintuitive. I just wish they would have two differently named methods and not use an overload there. Like, I'm a big fan of method overloads, but I think you have to be careful about them. Like, if you're making overloads that make people accidentally use the wrong method, then yeah, that's bad. So I always look, well, like, I'm always trying to avoid that when I'm doing overloads myself. So yeah, so that worked. Cool. Success. Everything green. Obviously this is not very good. So, but the next step is gonna be, get the structures in a certain order, some way or another. Like, make them implement I comparable. I'll have to think about how to do that exactly. Actually, I probably don't have to think about that yet. Yeah, I don't have to think about that yet, because I'm just gonna use the interface. Like, I don't have a structure yet. I just have to be comparable later on. I can think about how to do that later. Yes, and I can just tell the factory, yeah, order them, and then call them in the right order. So that should be fairly simple. And then I can write a test that actually tests properly. Like, the first one was being called with the original factory and returned a new factory. Then the second one was being called with that second factory and returned a third factory. And then the whole method, generate next steps, returns that third factory. Well, no, actually it doesn't. In fact, no, it doesn't. There's another change in between. It's also not something I should test here, actually. I shouldn't test the individual steps. I should just test that it's being called, and then later make tests that, like, that are actually making proper changes to the thing, I guess. Or that tests are, I don't know how to test that properly. Like, I think I need a structure that actually does something in the factory to test this in a manner. I'm gonna do that later. But there's also nothing, like, this also means this method is not gonna get much more complicated than this. Like, basically this method is done. The only thing that's missing is ordering the tiles, the structures. So I need to order these, and then I'm done. Sort them. I need to sort them, and then I'm done. That's it. Then this method is done and will probably never be touched again. Well, probably it will be touched at some point, because probably factory is going to get more complex and other things have to be changed. But for now, this is going to be okay. I can then start implementing some structures that do things, and that should work. Oh no, wait, no, obviously not. I need to. You know what? Let's do that already. Let's not. I don't know how to write a test that forces me to do this in a reasonable way. So I'm just gonna do that now. I'm just gonna do this in a. So we do var factory Just gonna do it not the way I said earlier I would do. Oh, I just like even the I don't know how to write a test that forces me to do this basically. Or why is this not working? Cannot convert iFactory to factory. Wait, what? Oh yeah, okay. I'm almost thinking like, is this better? Or is this more consistent? And the upper one's better, I don't know. I like the var keyword, but actually in this case, this makes more sense. Or actually, wait, that's not a fair comparison. It should be this instead. I just hate the casting operator though, so. Yeah, I know. The upper one is better. Simple and to the point. Oh, blub blub just joined. To optimize the immutable copying, one could only carry an immutable instance between the ticks. So the structures can modify a mutable version, but the result of a tick is immutable. Yeah. Yeah, right. I don't actually have to. Yeah, you're right. I don't have to make the factory or the tile collection or whatever temporarily mutable. I just have to create a mutable version of it. Like I take the immutable thing, copy it to a mutable version, then throw that around, mutate that around, and then in the end make it convert it to an immutable again and return it. Yeah, that makes sense. That's more reasonable than make it fake immutable and mutate it under the hood. That makes more sense. Or copy on write if you can make sure that there is no other reference to the previous version of the factory data. Yeah, but then that's basically that I was thinking about that. Like, just can I not just leave the copy in the data, like in the memory, and basically like if we're thinking a bit at low level and just change one value? But that's actually mutability, isn't it? That's what I would do if I make the thing mutable. So I don't think there is a way to do that without like that's the definition of mutable. I mean, if there are no references to it around, then okay, fine, but yeah, I think making a mutable, like if I running performance issues with this eventually, then creating a mutable copy of it and throwing that, passing that around and mutate on that and then changing it back to an immutable one, that would probably make sense. It's not the way of the functional programmer though. Which, I don't know how a functional programmer would like, can you solve that issue without mutability? Because I don't think you can. I don't see a way. Maybe it's not gonna be a performance issue, maybe though. I don't know. It just feels like it could become one, but also I'm a little bit confused that blah 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 is actually replying to that right now. I don't know if he's like behind half an hour or something. I mean, YouTube lets you do that usually, so might be it. So yeah, I don't know. I would like to be. I don't know how to write a test that forces me to do this. There might be a way. Blah blah is not a function. Writes that he's not a function programmer either. So yeah, I guess. I have to ask one of my friends or something if they have an idea. I can't think of a way to write a test that forces me to actually pass this factory thing around. Well, partially I could do it, but I shouldn't test this either, really. I should not test this. It doesn't make much sense to test. I mean, it depends. Do you want to test the internals of your method? Yes, I guess you could do that. I guess I could tell the thing to, yeah. I could just know about the internals of the method, say this is not like a unit test in the like, I'm not sure if it's the traditional sense, but it's not a unit test of in the way of like I'm just doing black box here, but it's a unit test of I know what you're supposed to do under the hood, and I'm gonna test for that, which it already does because I'm checking if activate is being called. So yeah, I'm just gonna write a test next time that checks for the correct order of execution of the structures, and then I'm gonna write a test about it's actually passing the correct instance, and at that point this method will fail again, and I'm gonna be forced to pass the factory. It feels a bit dumb to not write it down right now, but I wanna have the red cross marks and then make them turn into green ones by putting those lines back in. I could do it in a, so I don't have to. So I don't have to do it again. What we're gonna do is this. So I don't waste the code, and I can still have the check marks appear. That works. Okay, cool. Changed. Generate. Factory. Generate. Next step to call iStructure activate. Hit and push, and then go to bed. I think if I'm quiet myself, the typing, and I'm not typing super aggressively, the typing is actually being caught by the noise gate. It's not actually getting transmitted. Let me try that again. Yeah. If I'm not typing super loud, the noise gate is actually blocking the typing from coming up on the stream, so that's good. Good to know. So yeah, I was just thinking about that one case where like I'm not sure if I think it happened, but I'm never. It might just be an urban legend. But there was this instance where there was a streamer, like I think League of Legends or whatever, and then someone who had a fairly loud keyboard, so you could hear him typing through the stream, and someone recorded basically what the guy was typing, like when he was typing in chat or something, and you see what he was typing, and matched that with the sound of his typing, and collected just a huge amount of that data, and then ran like a machine learning thing on that, and figured out which sound or which clicking or which not necessarily single clicks, but like the what's the word, chain of clicks, like a sequence of clicks, are which keys basically, and he just did it on the big sample size. Because if that was like a full-time streamer, he's gonna stream like 40 hours a week or something. And managed to record the clicking of the guy typing in his password, and then basically figuring out the password this way. I'm not sure if that's an urban legend, but it sounds somewhat reasonable or believable. And I think it's a pretty funny, or not funny, it's just a very creative way of going about something like that. And it shows how complex security is, because there's so many attack vectors And usually the ones you don't think about are the dangerous ones. You can think about, like, you can put so much time into your security if you're, like, basically, like, if you're taking a simple analogism. Analogism, the right word? Whatever. Like, a simple picture is like you can put the biggest and best lock on your front door. If you leave your backyard door open, then it's not gonna help you much. So, is it analogism? Is that a word? Analogism. Not quite. No, the German one. Guess. Okay, it's just analogy, I guess. Yeah, how do you pronounce this in English? Analogy? Analogy? Let's ask Leo. Learning English with TH Pion. Sponsored by leo.org.
Analogy.
Analogy, right? That's the one. Yeah, I remember now. Analogy. It's usually like a lot of times I actually know the words and I know how to pronounce them, or I heard them being pronounced before. It's not like I'm hearing it the first time. I just can't like remember it at the spot, and then when I hear it again, it's like, ah, yeah, right. That's the one. Or if I read it again, like if I forgot the word. I guess that's just how it is if you're not native to a language. I mean, it happens with German words as well. Well, not with the pronunciation, but not remembering the word. I think you started your own live stream information mail might also be kind of security related, because it's important to get that information if it's not you. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's certainly true. But like when it comes to security, it's always a trade-off between being secure and being convenient or usable. Because if your security is getting too inconvenient, then people find ways around it, basically, or stop using your service, and then it's not good either. So I disabled that mail because, yeah, in theory, it's a little bit of extra security. Like if someone would steal my YouTube account somehow and then started streaming with it, I would get notified. But like the benefit of that is so ridiculously small, and that email every time I start streaming is just annoying. It's me so much more. I think it's worthwhile to disable that. Like, you're never gonna have perfect security anyway, so it's always important to, or it's always valuable to think about which attack vectors do I actually want to, or which attack scenarios do I actually want to prevent or protect from, and for which one do I just give up? Like, for example, basically it's impossible to, or very, very hard to have proper security against someone has a Trojaner, like a virus on your computer active. Like if there's a thing active on you, like a keyboard logger, a keylogger. If there's a keylogger on your computer active, which can like or record everything you do on your computer, it's almost impossible to protect against what that thing can do. Like so the thing is, you have to stop it from getting there, because if it's there, you're boned. Like even two-factor authentication starts to get weak at that point. Like yeah, in theory that helps, but depending on the situation, it might not in a lot of cases. So yeah, you always have to think about what do I actually want to, like which security measure is actually, like if you're thinking about a security measure, you always have to think like, what is this actually protecting me from, and do I want to protect myself from that this way, and is it beneficial to do that? Because like as I said earlier with the backyard door, like if you're protecting against that angle from one side but not from against that risk from one angle but not from the other, then you can just, because you think the other is too much hassle or whatever, then you can just ignore the other side as well. There's no point in putting a big lock on your front door if your backyard door is going to be open anyway. which is a bad analogy now because I'm talking about calculated risks, and keeping your door open is probably not a calculated risk, but an oversight. But I can't think of a more clever one right now, so that would be like, it would need to be, I don't know. No, I can't come up with something. Oh yeah, but by the way, I had like a thing where I had a situation earlier where I think that was kind of related. It's not exactly that what I was talking about, but it's still related. Like Discord, I enabled two-factor authentication on Discord earlier today, and so I have this Google Authenticator app on my phone, and I connected it with Discord and put in the security code, and then now every time I have to log in with this, I want to just log into Discord, I have to use the authenticator to use as two-factor authentication. That's how it works. So immediately after I did that, Discord pretty aggressively mentioned, or not aggressively, but pretty like how do you say that? Like, it tried to make me register my phone number as a backup mechanism, so it can send me, like, if I lose my authenticator, that I can recover via like a pin. It can send me a pin via SMS, and I can recover the account this way. And I decided not to do that because it's dumb on multiple levels. Like, first, in most cases where I lose my authenticator, I'm gonna lose my SIM card as well, because the authenticator is on my phone. So I don't know if that's that useful. Like, that's the first thing. It's not going to be super useful. There's another reason it's not super useful, because the other way you can recover is via backup codes, which you could either download, or, here's the thing, if I lose access to my phone right now, so my phone gets stolen, or it drops into the sea or whatever, I'm still going to be logged in on at least one other device, probably two, into my Discord. And I can just go to my account settings and click on show backup codes, take one of those backup codes, and use that to disable my two-factor authentication. So I don't need the phone number as a backup, because I have two computers where I'm logged in via Discord, which function as a backup. The more important point, however, like, you could still say, yeah, okay, but it doesn't hurt to also have SMS. But here's the thing, it actually does hurt. It actually undermines the whole thing, because SMS authentication is not secure. SMS authentication is better than no authentication, but it's actually worse than a proper authentication. Like, SMS can be spoofed and whatnot. Like, you can just Google it. SMS authentication is not safe. It's not super easy to fake it. Like, don't get me wrong. That's why it's better than no authentication. But it's weaker than a proper authenticator app or something similar to that. And therefore, putting my phone number in there would now allow someone who is capable of spoofing SMS to take over my account, which is not possible if I don't put that phone number in. And spoofing in SMS is, as I said, easier than spoofing my authenticator app on my phone. So yeah, I think it's not good that Discord is actually promoting putting the phone number in, because, as I said, that's weaker than the two-factor authentication. They could have it as an alternative, like, here, use it. You can use that if you don't want to download the authenticator, but we recommend using the authenticator because it's more secure. But no, they say, oh, you activated a two-factor authentication via the authenticator. How about you add your phone number as a backup? And it's not like you can choose the phone instead. Like, it's the two-factor authentication in Discord is always via like an authenticator app. You cannot do it via SMS. The SMS thing is only for recovery, and that's just like that's just dumb. Like, it obviously they don't have someone, which is concerning, to be honest. That Discord doesn't have someone who understands this very basic concept. Like, I'm not a security expert by no means. I just heard once or a few times that SMS authentication is not safe because that's a very, very well-known thing, and I made some like pretty simple thought processes basically, and realized this is not a good thing. And yeah, so if they don't, and like a security specialist should immediately realize that. But like, I mean, there's a possibility that I have a flaw in my logic, or that I misunderstanding how their systems actually work. Maybe if the phone number is not allowing me to take over the account or something. Who knows? I don't know. So that might be a thing as well. But it's certainly like right now in my mind, it feels like they have an oversight there, which is not good, because if they have a proper security expert who has a say in things, then they would have told them to not do that. But yeah, security is hard. So that's the reason I never installed WhatsApp ever. Because the one thing it was well known for was coming up every other week in security news. Or another breach and another whatever. Flying Dog writes, I'm bad at translating single words in French, which I mainly learned vocally from my mom. Translating whole sentences, however, works. And in English, it's rather the other way around, because I mainly learned it academically and haven't got practice. And hello, first of all. Yeah, hello. That makes sense. That makes sense. I have that as well, like sometimes that I understand what a sentence is supposed to mean, but I can't really translate it word for word. And I understand a word in context, like I know what this word in this context means, but I couldn't tell you the German word for it. Actually, French was my first language I learned in school, and English was my second, but I barely spoke any French ever after school, so I'm only good at English now. Can say, Je m'appelle Arthur, je suis un perroquet, and things like that, but besides that, my French is pretty poor. So anyway, I wanted to go to bed, but before we do that, let's actually keep order structures. Pass factory instance from one structure to the other. So we have some to-dos for next time. Well, if it's not going to be a super long stream, or I'm going to be super fast, we're probably going to only succeed at that, if at anything. So anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go to bed. Thanks for sticking around again. And maybe we're going to stream tomorrow again. I'm quite likely. Don't want to make any promises, but it's very likely. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have fun, and see you next time.